Today we are going to talk about how to find the volume and surface area of a cone. Well, those look delicious, but we're not exactly talking about an ice cream cone, but similar. A cone is something that looks similar to this. So we are going to look at how to find the volume and the surface area of a cone such as this. As always, let's first start with the volume. How to find the volume of a cone? Well, let's first start with the formula. Remember yesterday we did the volume of a pyramid, and I told you what the formula for the volume of a pyramid was, and that was base, the area of the base, times the height, divided by 3. That formula is exactly the same for the cone. The only difference on this one is how do we find the area of the base. So let's look at the example below. If you look at this example, this little highlighted portion down here in the yellow or green, whatever color that looks like to you, you're going to notice that the radius is 12 centimeters and we have a circle on the bottom. If you remember back from doing cylinders, we had to find the area of the circle. How do we find the area of a circle again? Well, that is your base times pi. Oh my gosh, what am I talking about? Your base, or the area of a circle, is pi times the radius squared. Okay, so the area of this circle down here will be pi times the radius squared, or if we plug in the numbers for that, the area of that base will be 3.14 times 12 squared. Well, let's keep moving on. 3.14 times 12 squared comes out to be an area of 452.16. So the area of this base right down here, I'm moving it around for you, that area is 452.16. Go ahead and take those notes here. I'm going to talk to you. Mr. Anderson will not pause it today. I'm going to talk to you. But remember, the notes you should have is the formula. Come on. There we go. The formula is the area of the base times the height divided by 3. We now figured out the base. How do we do that? Well, we did pi times radius squared. You should have had that from before. That was where we got the 3.14 times the 12 squared. And we got the area of the base, which is only the B portion up here, to be 452.16. All right, you should have those notes down by now. Let's move on. The next thing we need to do is find the volume. Well, let's follow the complete formula. The area of the base, which we found to be 452.16. You're going to notice I wrote that right down there, 452.16. We multiply that by the height, which is h. The height of this over here is 16, so that 16 goes right there. And we're going to multiply those two together and then divide by 3. So when we take 452.16 times 16, and we're not going to divide by 3 quite yet, we get 7,234.56. We still have to divide that by 3 to get the volume. So we took that to get this. When we take this now, so we went from this step to this step, when we take that and divide it by 3, we find our volume to be 2,411.52 centimeters cubed. While you take the notes on this, and you're not going to have a ton of time, so write quickly, you guys, but I'll recap it for you. What we had to do first, oh, come on, what happened to my yellow circle? Oh, yellow circle, come here. Okay, we got to find out what's going on there. Well, isn't that just lovely? I get to do something. Here, all right, you're going to have a little bit of time. I will readjust this, move that back over here, readjust this down. This is buying you time to take the notes. You're welcome on all this. We'll relock that. We're going to take this, we're going to unlock this. We're going to take that right there, and we're going to take the order on this, and we're going to bring that to the front. So that never happens to me again. And we'll, oh, I don't want to lock that. We will unlock that. Actually, we're going to allow the move on that. All right, so to find that volume then, base times height divided by 3. We took the area of the base, which was 452.16. We multiplied that by 16. We got 7,234.56. And when we divide that by 3, we got 2,411.52. The time you're going to have right now is you can ask Mr. Anderson some questions. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, now we're moving on. Next page. Now we're going to look up how to find the surface area of a cone. The surface area. Remember yesterday when we found the surface area of a pyramid, we had to get away from the height of the pyramid and find the slant height of the pyramid. Well, we have to do the same thing with the cone too. We have to get away from the height of the cone and instead find the slant height of the cone. In order to do that, again, this right here should look like a right triangle. In order to do that, then we have to follow that Pythagorean theorem again. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Well, our a squared in this case is 16. Our b is 12. And we don't know what the c is, so we got to figure that one out. So we take 16 squared, which is 256. We take 12 squared, which is 144. When we take the 256 plus the 144, we get c squared to equal 400. That is not the length of that side. Many of you forget to take the square root of that. When we take the square root of that, we get c to equal 20. That 20 is then put over here, and that is our slant height. So this page, just like we had to do with the pyramid, we had to find the slant height. So this page is just dedicated to finding that slant height. Now that we have that slant height and we have all the dimensions we need on the circle, we move on to our last page so we can now find the surface area of a cone. Just like the pyramid, there is a fancy formula for doing this. I'm not going to go through how that formula became a formula, but we will go through exactly how to apply the formula. So the formula here is pi times the radius times, again, that funky little symbol is called the slant height, and then we add to that pi times the radius squared. In case you were wondering, the pi times the radius times the funky little slant height gives us the area of the cone portion, and the pi times the radius squared gives us the area of the circle. This circle right here. So this circle is this portion, and the area of the whole cone, this whole portion here, is that portion there. When we add those two together, we get the total surface area of the entire cone. So let's plug in the numbers. Pi equals 3.14. The radius is 12. The slant height we found to be 20. We did that on the last page. We add to that the 3.14 times the radius of 12 squared. When we multiply those numbers out, we get 753.6 for the left side, and we get 452 for the right side of the plus symbol. We add those two together, and we get 1,205.76 centimeters squared. So our total surface area comes out to be this portion right here. Let's recap. Surface area. You follow this handy formula. When you plug in the numbers for that formula, the 3.14 that you see in both of those comes from being pi. The 12 you see in both of these is the radius that we got from right here. And the 20 for the surface area came from our slant height right here. When we did this math here, we got that answer there. When we did this math here, we got that answer there. When we add those two answers together, we got our total surface area of 1,205.76. Mr. Anderson will take questions on this now, and then we will post up your assignment for today. Good luck.